Hello students, today we start the unit 3 environmental botany. So environmental botany is nothing but the study of plants distributions, their adaptive strategies, the use of resources, then their interrelationships with the environment. These all type of study are included under the environmental botany. So in the unit environmental botany, and there are 3 points. First one is the bioremediation. In bioremediation, first we have to see the principles and then factors responsible and microbial populations in bioremediations. The second point is the phytoremediation. In that you have to study about the metal and organic pollutants. Then third is the plant succession. In that there is the study of hydrospheres and geospheres and different factors regarding the climax you have to study in this plant succession. So today we start about the environmental botany. In environmental botany means the study of various plants distributions, then their adaptive strategies, then use of different resources and their interrelationships with the environment. So in that your first question is, our first point is the bioremediation, and the question asked in exam that is what is bioremediation, and give the or give the different factors regarding the bioremediations. Then also question asks the write a note on factors which are responsible for the bioremediations. So first of all we have to see about the definition of bioremediation. So bioremediation is the process of removal of pollutants by using microorganisms. As you know, in environment various types of pollutants are present in soil, air as well as in water. So the removal the process which are removing the pollutants from the different sources like water, air as well as in air by using the microorganisms is known as the bioremediations. Bio means the organisms and remedies means removal. So by using the microorganisms, removing the pollutants, that is the bioremediations. So it is a green movement maintaining the overall ecological balance. So this is also a green movement भी हम उसे बोल सकते हैं, क्योंकि by using the different organisms we can removing the pollutants, so the environment will be ultimately clean and healthy. That's why it is the green movement. So these bioremediations will be takes place by the using biological system as well as the engineering systems, and these allies together they will be helpful to removing the chemical pollutants. Biological system means these naturally occurring जो plants or some organisms, they can by the naturally processing they will be removed pollutants from the different sources. Yeah, and engineering also some engineering processes or chemical or laboratory processes which can helpful to removing the chemical pollutants. So these bioremediations we are allies together a biological system as well as the engineering system. They will be helpful to remove the chemical pollutants. Then second principle, that is the bioremediations are the naturally occurring biodegradable process for cleanup of pollutant environments. So this process is naturally occurring in environments and they can be clean up the pollutants from the environments. Then third principle is based on or it is the natural attenuations. That means this is the naturally occurring process in the environment and they reduces the mass, toxicity, mobility, then volumes, concentration of the pollutants. So this is natural attenuations for controlling or reducing the mass of the pollutants, some toxic pollutants as well as the concentration of toxic or heavy metals should be removed by this process. Then these in bioremediations, some bacteria, fungi, algae or higher plants are using for removing the pollutants. So this will be helpful the living organisms for removing the pollutants from different sources. So this is regarding the bioremediations principles. Then second point is the bioremediations factors. So in that first is the natural attenuation factors. So this is the natural intention to reduce the different pollutants which are present in the atmosphere. So in this process the contaminants are reduced by the natural processes, or it is also known as the intrinsic bioremediations. That means the pollutants from the atmosphere should be removed by the natural processes by using the different microorganisms. That is the natural attenuation. So this process is also known as the intrinsic bioremediation. Intrinsic bioremediation, that means the degradations of the organic pollutants using the in situ microorganisms via the natural processes. So in situ conditions we can removing the pollutants by using the natural process, that is the intrinsic bioremediations. For example, pentachlorophenol, that is the pollutants which is removed or degraded by the microorganisms, and the carbon dioxide, water and chloride ions will be these pentachlorophenol will be degradable by the microorganisms and forms the carbon dioxide, water and chloride ions. So such a microorganisms is increased to accelerate the natural processes of bioremediations. ये जो microorganisms है, these microorganisms should help in or accelerates the rate of biodegradation or rate of bioremediation. That's why the pollutants should be biodegrade and these pollutants should be controlled. Then second is regarding the biostimulation factors. So in biostimulation factors, the pollutants or contaminants should be biostimulated by the additions of oxygen or other electron acceptors adjacent of moisture content and adjust the pH. This will be accelerate the biodegradation by the microorganisms by additions of oxygen or additions of fertilizers to adjust the favorable conditions to microbes or to adjust the moisture contents of the medium, and it stimulates the bioremediations. That is this biostimulation, that means they should be helpful or they should be added the oxygens or fertilizers, or they should be added the favorable conditions for the microbes. That's why they can stimulate the process. Stimulate, that means they can be started or they can be fastly do the process of biodegradation. So that's why the biostimulation, that means they can provide the environmental or favorable conditions for the microorganism by adding some oxygens, some fertilizers, or maintaining the moisture contents, also the maintaining the pH. That's why these microorganisms should be do the process of bioremediations. Then third factor, that is the bioaugmentations. So in bioaugmentation, that is the use of the microbial culture to increase the degradations. So in this process, directly use the microbial cultures for degrading the pollutants. So in that, some indigenous microorganisms are present. If this indigenous not, then there is the exogenous microorganisms. Exogenous, that means externally added the microorganisms. So in that should use about the naked DNA, then superbugs, then genetically engineered bacteria. And these are added in the microbial culture of the other microbes then present in that regions. जो उस रीजन में मतलब जो एक्सटर्नली जो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स ऐड किए जाते हैं उसे हम एक्सोजिनस माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स बोलते हैं, और इंडोजिनस, दैट मीन्स दे आर ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट इन दैट रीजन्स, उसे हम इंडिजिनस, दैट इज माइक्रोबियल कल्चर्स ऑफ सम माइक्रोब्स ऑफ दैट रीजन. जो उसी रीजन के जो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स है उसे इंडिजिनस बोलते हैं, और जो एक्सटर्नली जो वह दूसरे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं उसे एक्सोजिनस माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स बोलते हैं. तो इन द बायो आर्गुमेंटेशंस there is the addition of indigenous as well as exogenous microorganisms for for degrading the pollutants or increasing the process of degradations. Then fourth factor is phytoremediations factor. So phytoremediation, phyto, that means by using the plants degradations will be happening. The phytoremediation is using of plants for minimizing the effect of pollutants or contaminants. So in this process there is the directly use of plants for minimizing the pollutants or heavy metals. So these phytoremediations operating by different processes, in that there is the enhanced rhizosphere, that means the regions where majority of bacteria are grown. So this types of regions will be increases, Then also enhances the degradation, that means the degradation process will be enhancing by using the different plants. Then phytoextraction. Phytoextraction is the nothing but the removal of some dangerous elements or compounds which are present in the soils or waters. For example, जो heavy metals जो present रहते हैं, these should be removed by using of the plants. That is the phytoextraction. Then fourth is the phytovolatilization. So that is the phyto means plants. By using of plants, there is the volatilizations of the pollutants will be takes place. So phytovolatilization is the process in that plants are take up contaminants from the soil and releases them as a volatile form in the atmosphere. तो फाइटोवोलाटाइजेशन में क्या होता है कि प्लांट्स क्या करते हैं, जो सॉइल्स में जो कंटेमिनेंट्स और पोल्यूटेंट्स रहते हैं उससे वो एब्सॉर्ब करते हैं और उससे फिर वो वोलाटाइल फॉर्म में एटमॉस्फेयर में रिलीज कर देते हैं. इट इज द फाइटोवोलाटाइजेशन. देन फाइटोस्टेबिलाइजेशन. In phytostabilization, there is the reductions of the mobility of the heavy metals in the soil. जो सॉइल्स में फॉर एग्जांपल जो सॉइल्स में जो हेवी मेटल्स प्रेजेंट रहते हैं, सो दिस प्लांट्स शुड बी immobilized or they should be reduce the mobility of these heavy metals and they maintain the stable conditions by using these plants. जो plants जो सॉइल में जो हेवी मेटल जो रहते हैं उसे स्टेबलाइज और स्टेबल करने का काम प्लांट्स करता है इन फाइटोस्टेबलाइजेशन. सो these are the different methods for operating the phytoremediations by using the different processes like enhancing rhizosphere, then enhancing degradations, extraction, phytovolatilization and phytostabilizations. So for today, this is regarding the bioremediations. In that, firstly I talk on the bioremediations. In the bioremediations, it is the alliance between the biological as well as engineering system to reducing the chemical pollutants. Also, it is a natural process for cleaning the pollutants from the environment. Also, it is the naturally attention towards the reducing the toxicity, mobility or volume of concentration of the heavy metals. Also, in this bioremediation, microorganisms are used like bacteria, fungi, algae or higher plants that should be removed the pollutants from the environment. Then in bioremediation factors, the first factor is the natural attenuations factor. In that, naturally we should remove the we should remove the pollutants. For example, जो pentachlorophenol, it is a pollutants which can be biodegradable by microorganisms and forms the carbon dioxide, water and chloride ions. So such an organism should be accelerates the rates of reducing the rates of bioremediations. Then the second factor is the biostimulations. In that, there is the stimulate the bioremediations by favorable in or providing the favorable conditions like addition of O2, addition of moisture content and pH. Then augmentation, in that we should adding the indigenous as well as in exogenous microorganisms to increasing the degradation. Then in the phytoremediation factors, by using the plants you can remove the different pollutants by the enhancing rhizosphere, then enhancing degradation, bioregulation, phytovolatization and phytostabilization. So now I stop here.